Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm Connie Douglas. It's Friday evening at 7:30, and this is Connie's Craft Along. So welcome. Thank you so much for stopping in here on your Friday evening, and look forward to doing some crafting and hanging out together. So it is Friday. It's the weekend. I'm just getting this all going here as per usual. So someone commented today that, every time they go into Facebook, it does something different. Thankfully, I haven't had a whole lot of that, but, technology, it's sort of nice to know that it challenges all of us. So if you are here joining me, give me a hello. Let me know that you're here with me, and what you've been up to today. How was your day? How was your Friday? I had a fairly busy day, actually. I got called into work at Blue Mountain. They, I guess they're gearing up for winter break. It is March break starting, I guess, today, maybe yesterday. I don't know. Maybe a lot of families were taking Friday off to get a little jump on traveling to and fro. But anyway, they were looking for instructors, although not all the work at Blue was families, because there was a lot of school groups in today. So maybe school groups going out for a ski day before the end of this session and the start of March break. But anyway, so I worked, but I only worked half a day because I had a few things that I had set up for this morning. So I got some stuff done around here, headed off to the hill. I came home, had a quick shower, had some dinner. Thankfully, we were having leftovers, so there was not a lot of prep for that. It was just a reheat and a salad that we put together, so that was all good. And I think that's about it. That's it for my day. I don't know if anybody has any exciting plans for the weekend. What have I got up? I'm working tomorrow and I have synchro on Sunday. It's sort of a typical weekend for me. The weekends aren't really a time off here right now. They're fairly busy, but that's okay. Busy with things that I enjoy. So that's always a good way to spend them. And of course, I kick it off Friday nights in the best way possible, hanging out with my friends and crafting. Doesn't get any better than that, does it? Okay. So I don't think I have any other news right now. So I am going to flip us down. There's Lorna. Hello, Lorna. Thank you for joining me. Are you going to craft with me tonight, or is Oliver there helping you with things? Crafting with the grandkids can be fun, but you sort of have to dedicate yourself to that, I think, rather than trying to follow along with something that that we might be doing here. So, but I'm sure you can't craft today, but you wanted to pop in and say hi. Well, hello. I'm so glad you popped in to say hi. And we have a little bit of a different layout tonight. So if you want to go back and give it a try, there's Sarah. Sarah, hello. Why are you not in the middle of packing, unpacking, or moving, or whatever it is you're doing? Watching this from the car. Oh, okay. On the way to the new place. How exciting. Sarah is, she and her husband have bought their first house and they are moving. So that is, it's a huge step, and exciting and scary and all those things. I remember when I got my first house, it was a huge thing, and it was big and it was scary. And my first husband and I didn't really know what we were doing, but we did it anyway, and it all worked out. So anyway, I'm sure you're watching for now as you ride in the car. And if it's a smooth car ride, you'll probably be asleep in 10 minutes. Hopefully the hubby's driving and not you, Sarah. All righty, let's move this down to the tabletop. And I apologize. Look, I was crafting here yesterday and I was going to change this and I completely forgot. So we have loved paper tonight. It was loved last night or yesterday. So for tonight, as I mentioned, to learn a little bit of a fancy fold here. So we have a piece of cardstock that is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, which of course is standard card base size. But this one's not folded. It's just a flat piece of paper. You are definitely not the one driving the car. That's good. Oh, you got Peggy. Well, that's an important task. I'm sure Peggy wanted to make sure she had her spot all set out for her. So that's great. Okay, there is that one. And then we have a piece of cardstock that is 3 by 3. We have a piece of designer series paper that is 5 1/8 by 3 7/8. We have another piece of designer series paper that is 5 1/8 by 2 inches. We have a piece of cardstock that is 2 1/8 by 6, and this 6 is a little bit of a funky length. I haven't quite worked it out yet because I only made one of these cards in advance, and this was not my design. So we may have to do a little bit of trimming, but it'll all be good. It'll work out fine if you've got it 2 1/8 by 6 and scored at 5 3/8. Okay. I should mention that this card is one that Rachel Testman shared. She is a demonstrator in the United States, and she shared this on her blog recently. And I happened to trip over it, and I love her stuff. She shares some great things, and I thought this would be wonderful for our craft along because it's not really difficult, but it's kind of a cool layout. So, piece of basic white cardstock that is 4 inches by 5 1/4 inches. 2 pieces of basic white. One is 3 by 3, and one is 2 7/8 by 2 7/8. So one is just slightly smaller than the other. Okay. And then I realized after I took the photo and I had my post all ready and everything else that I forgot to put this in, but hopefully everybody knows that you always need the usuals: some stamps and ink, adhesive, your bone folder, paper snips, and of course, embellishments, because it's not a card without embellishments of some description. You have to have a little shine or a little bling or a little gem or some ribbon or something. Okay, so let's get started. So the first thing we are going to do is we are going to adhere the larger piece of designer series paper to the basic white cardstock. And it is a narrow border, so I will recommend liquid glue. I'm using the Blessings of Home designer series paper for this card. The card that I made to test this out, make sure I had a clue what I was going to be talking about. I used the Expressions in Ink, I think it's called, from the Artistically Inked suite, which is in the annual catalog. And it has occurred to me that the annual catalog does not have a whole lot of time left. It will all be done on May 2nd. So it's like, okay, so we were concentrating on Celebration and we were all excited about the new catalog, but now you need to go back and spend some time showing some love to products from the annual catalog because we won't have that one a whole lot longer. Okay, then our 2 1/8 by 6 inch piece, we're going to fold it on the score line. Give it a nice crease. And then we are going to attach the 2 by, what was it, 5 7/8? I've covered up all my notes. I can't see my dimensions anymore, but whatever. We're going to attach these two. So again, I'm going to use just the liquid glue since I have it right here. And the edge The border on the edge of this is fairly narrow. There's a little more at the top and bottom. But let's see if I can get this on here evenly. Okay. Just give that a nice press down. There we go. Okay, so there's a whole lot of gluing to get this card started. So now you are going to go back to this piece. We are going to take the larger piece of the basic white. So the 3x3 piece. And if you want to stamp a sentiment or something that would be on the inside of your card, now is the time to do that. So this is not really big for writing on. So, I mean, there's enough room, but it's not really big. So I don't know that I'm going to, I don't think I'm going to stamp anything on here. I'm just going to leave it as is. And we just, see how I do it? I always turn that blank piece of cardstock over to put the adhesive on the back. I think I mentioned this one other time. I just always do that. It's just what I do. Hi, Donna, welcome. If you are crafting along with us this evening, we've done the first couple steps. So we've got the larger piece of the designer series paper has been glued to the basic white piece of cardstock. And then the strip of designer series paper has been glued to the a 6-inch strip that is scored at 5 3/8. So that's what we've done so far. And now we have the larger basic white square. So the 3x3 square, and we are going to attach it here. And what I had told the others was this is ultimately the inside of your card. So if you want a sentiment or a little, you know, some little image on the inside of your card, you want to do that before you adhere it. Okay. Once you're good with that, you can glue that down. Okay. And then we are going to, this is actually a really quick card. It doesn't take a long time. But before we assemble the whole thing, let's do a little stamping because we haven't done any stamping yet. So on your 2 7/8 by 2 7/8 piece of basic white, you want to stamp an image, a sentiment, an image and a sentiment, whatever you like. I am going to do both because I have selected, I've got a fairly small sentiment in that it's fairly narrow. I'm using the wildflower path, and I've got the happy birthday sentiment, and then I'm going to put on some stems and flowers. So I'm going to put my happy birthday at the top. Just bring this guy in here. My little foam mat. And I'm going to put my sentiment pretty close to the top. And this piece of white cardstock is square, so you don't need to worry about which way you've got it. If I get that straight, I think that looks pretty good. Okay. I'm going to clean this off because if I make a second card, I was planning on using the same ingredients. Okay, and then I have one of the stems from the wildflower path, and I am just going to stamp. I think I'm going to do one tall one in the middle. Shorter one off to the side. Hopefully that looks okay. But if it doesn't, well, you know, we'll turn it over and start again. And since I am using this, this is the Blessings of Home paper. which is mainly cinnamon cider, which is one of the ink colors that's going away. So if you love cinnamon cider, you want to get your hands on some extra cardstock and make sure you have the re-inker for your ink pad. But there's also pale papaya in there. So I thought I would do the flowers in pale papaya. And these, don't know if you can quite see or not. So there's 4 flowers on this one stamp, and they fit. Oh, look, I don't even have some of them on here, but they fit right onto the branch. I might have a little bit of flower at the bottom that is a little weird. Maybe I won't ink that part. So I'm not going to ink this bottom flower because I really don't have that part of the stem, at least not on this first one. So you just kind of line it up over top of the green stem, and then you get all 3 flowers, one fell swoop. Okay, and what this one I do have, so I will ink all of it because this one was up higher. On there, and then this one I don't have, so I'm going to ink him this time. And these flowers are dangling over the edge a little bit, but that is fine. And then I pulled out one extra individual flower for some of these bottom stems here. There we go. So there's our flowers. And this guy didn't quite line up, so we'll just add a little more orange there and make it a little bit more flowery. Hello, Terry. Yes, you're late. You're late. You're late. You're very, very late. But you're here, and that's the main thing. Nice to have you. Have a good crowd tonight. You probably saw that Sarah is on here. She is en route to the new house. And we're all excited for her. So. Okay. So Terry, if you are crafting or you go back and craft, just so you know, this is the larger piece of designer series paper on the large piece of basic white. This is the 3x3 square. So this is the larger square. We've just stamped on the 2 7/8. The 3x3, this is the inside of your card, which you will see in just a moment. So if you want to stamp a sentiment or a little design down there, you would want to do that before you glue this down. So just so you know. Okay, so we have our stamping done, and now we're going to go back. So on this piece that we have scored and folded, you want to put your adhesive on this inside piece. Okay, so just you can use your liquid glue again, or you can use adhesive. Yes, Sarah, on her way to her new home. There we go. You are all caught up. And then you are just going to fold this over the top, covering the white edge. Okay, and you might want to go just a smidge beyond the white edge so that you're leaving just about 1/4 of an inch there. We go over a little bit further. Okay. There we go. Okay. And you are going to attach your stamped piece to your cardstock. And again, this is a narrow border, so I would suggest the liquid glue, if you have some, give you that moment of wiggle room. There we go. So I don't know whether it's March break for everyone. I know we have Oh, Vera's not here tonight. Vera's in the US. Terry's in the US. Sarah's in Australia. So they're in the middle of their summer. Not that we're jealous, Sarah. Just saying. I know you said it's been really hot there, so we're not jealous of the humidity that you have. But anyway, okay, I'm going to attach this piece here, and you can see if your cardstock happens to dangle down below your card, this is where you would want to trim it. Mine does not. It shouldn't. The first one that I made, I had scored it up a little higher, so there was more hanging down, and then it did come down a little bit, and that's why I adjusted that measurement before I sent it out to you. So you would never know, except now I just told you. So now you know. But anyway, if it does happen to go down below your card base, you would want to trim it. It does come a little bit below here. I don't know if you can see, you just sort of see that it's dark at the edge there. So it comes a little bit below. That doesn't really help, does it? But anyway, that is fine. It doesn't matter that is below because there is still card base around the edge of this. So it's not hanging outside of my card. There we go. And then the last thing we're going to do is we're going to attach this, and you want to make sure you are covering your white, and you can go over just so that this border here is about the same width as that border. Okay, so you're going to be a little bit past your piece of white cardstock, and that's fine. Now you want to make sure you know this is one of these ones where it matters. Make sure you are only putting adhesive on this side, because otherwise you won't be able to open your card. So I'm just going to put a couple strips of adhesive along here. One more. Maybe. Yes, sure I do. Hopefully I do. If not, I have to move it back. But I think I'm good. Okay. And I'm just going to set this down on there. Okay. So there is your card. And there's how it opens. Isn't that fun? I thought this was a lot of fun. I really, quick and easy, but kind of a cool layout. I will definitely be using this one again. So that is that. Except for, of course, maybe a little bit of sparkle. So I was thinking about adding some of these self-adhesive sequins. What are these? I can tell you what these are. These are the Artistry Blooms. And there's 4 colors. There's Calypso Coral. I think this is actually Mango Melody, but it's very much like Pale Papaya in there. And this, I believe, is Pool Party. It looks all blue and purple the way the light is hitting it here, and a little bit green. It almost looks like the Waves of the Ocean ones. I'm glad you like it, Donna. And then these, I believe, are Rich Razzleberry. So there's 4 different colors of sequins in this, and they are all adhesive back, which makes them really easy to add to your projects. So we like quick and easy. I'm thinking I'm just going to put a few of these on. Is that 3 different sizes? Oh, I think it's just 2. Oh, I'll just put some of these down in the bottom here to add a little bit of sparkle, because well, just because because I can, because I like to, because I want to. And there's the card. So that is the that's the card. That's what I had planned. Here is the one that I made earlier to make sure I had a clue what I was talking about. And as I had mentioned, I have to get my little cheat sheet off the back here. Yes, Artistically Inked is the name of the designer series paper, and this, of course, is the one with all the flowers and the gold and everything. And then I put the Artistry Blooms sequence on there as well. This is from the Artistically Inked. Oh no, this is Expressions in Ink. That's the name of this. And I used the Artistically Inked stamp set to stamp it. So I don't know. Can you see the color variations in there? So I did this flower. I think I put it all away, but I stamped this the same way. When did we do it? We did it with the wave. So I inked the flower with pale papaya, and then I used a sponge dauber, and I added some Calypso coral ink with the sponge dauber, and it gives you that really lovely marbled effect in the flower. And then same thing for the inside on this one as well. So that was the other one that I had made to share with you. And then I've cut out another one so I can keep crafting. I don't know whether you cut for more than one or not, but this is where I had that moment where I thought, oh my goodness, I have to use things from the annual catalog. So here is the pansy, you know, the pansy paper. It has a different name, obviously. It's not a real name, but it is the pansies. I want to say Pansy Parade, but that's Poppy Parade, and that's an ink color. I can tell you in a moment. It is Pansy Petals. There we go. This guy right down here. So I still have a fair amount in this pack. So it's like, oh, it's so pretty. I have to use it. Look at it. I love this one. This is probably one of my favorite sheets in the package. So I pulled it out to use. And I decided that I would put it on a soft seafoam card base. So I'm kind of, well, I guess I could still do it in proper order, couldn't I? And while we're at it, let me see what else. What else do I have to share with everyone tonight? So in another week and a half-ish, March 23rd is when demonstrators get to see the brand new annual catalog. So that is very exciting. Getting to have the first peek at all the new goodies. And, if you are interested in my card classes, my March class uses the Tulips suite from the January to June mini catalog. And I also have the Waves of the Ocean class right now. And that email did go out. It went out late last night, but I had said I would send it yesterday. So I did. So hopefully, if you are on my mailing list, you have seen that. And if you are not on my mailing list, I invite you to go over to Great Stamping with Connie and subscribe to my mailing list so that you can get my emails and know what's up, when, and where, and all that sort of stuff. Not getting that very straight, am I? There we go. I guess that's a little better. See, and that's why we love liquid glue. It gives us a moment to get it straight. Okay. If you are a demonstrator, you may have heard that Stampin' Up! Is offering a well, it's about 4 hours, I think, a 4-hour crafting event in June, I believe. I believe it's June 18th. And it's the first time they've ever done that. So that's kind of exciting. Sorry, don't attach this until you have your white cardstock down, just so you know where you put things and everything's going to get colored up. And look, I'm not going to turn this over to the back. I'm going to put the adhesive right on the front. Yes. Anyway, yes, so they are doing, it will be approximately 4 hours in length, and it will be 100% crafting. They put a note right at the top saying, you know, leave your business hat at the door, leave your business talk at the door. This is just about crafting together. And so if you are not a demonstrator and you are interested in something like that, well, maybe you'd like to get a little more information about the starter kit and joining my team, and then you can be a part of that event. So I think it's $35 US, I think is what the price is. So that would convert to Canadian dollars. But anyway, that is coming. Okay, so I think I'm going to use the same stamps, but I have different ink colors. I have Evening Evergreen, which is the dark green in my designer series paper, and Fresh Freesia. I think I want to stamp my sentiment in Evening Evergreen. Where did I put? I know I have it because I just used it a few minutes ago. Okay. I'm going to put this at the top again. And I'm putting it at the top because my stems dangle off the bottom, and I guess I could mask it with if I put the sentiment at the bottom, but this is just easier. So I missed your commentary, and it was all about the love, loving the colors and loving the layout. Thank you so much. It's not mine. I'm not sure whether you were here when I mentioned this is a design that Rachel Testament had shared, and I have cased it. So I didn't case her. I don't even remember what paper she used, but I just stole the layout. So okay, and I kind of think that that 3 and 2 thing sort of works. So I might go maybe just a little bit lower with everything on this one. This one a little, and I don't think that's really any lower. It's very dark. But go a little bit lower on this one, and a little bit lower on this one. And since you were late, Terry, because you know this is one of the things, I did apologize for forgetting to change my paper. We always like to have clean or almost completely clean, at least, if not completely clean paper down when we're doing it live. And I had looked at it earlier and thought, oh yes, I have to change that. And then, no, I think there was a squirrel that ran by. Darn squirrels. Anyway, then I didn't really look at it again until we were live. And it's like, oh, look, I have some paper that's been loved. So that's where we are for tonight. We're using loved paper. Previously loved. It was loved during my live yesterday. So. This flower didn't really attach very well, but that's okay. I will go back and just put some of the other flower over top of it and get it all to connect to the stem. And this is up very high, touching on my happy birthday. but it's pretty light in color, so I think it will be okay. I'm just gonna fix up some of these flowers with this little individual guy here. There, now he's attached to the stem. It's all good. Yeah, see, my lovely cards are hiding. That's that's why I leave all the finished cards close by to cover up any mess. Okay, it's actually only here. See, look, this is clean on this side. There, I should be working over here, and then you would think that I was on clean paper, but it's all good, all good. Okay, so I am going to adhere this to the soft sea foam. There we go. Yes, it's all about the fun, isn't it? Oh. Okay, I think we are ready to put the rest of this together. So now I will put adhesive on here because we have the white down. Oops. We know where we want to be. We want to be right over to this edge here. Nope. Let's just get it straight. And put this to the base. Don't forget to attach this before you put your white piece onto your card base, because you want it to tuck over the top, and obviously we don't want to see it on the back of the card. So this way, that's all perfect because it's hiding in the underlayer there. And then remember to make sure you only do this on the one side. And you want to make this border about the same as the other border. Probably should have cut this over a little bit, but that's okay. There we go. And then I pulled out the pastel pearls because we have light mauve, light purple and dark purple. I'm not sure. The dark purple might show up better. The light purple is this color, but it's almost lost on there. So maybe we will use the darker ones. And we'll put them at the top this time. Here we go. You can definitely see those. So there you have it. There are the 3 cards. So they are easy to do, but they're, as I say, I thought they were kind of a really cool layout. Something a little different, and something that I wanted to share with you. So if you weren't able to craft along tonight, hopefully you can find some time maybe on the weekend and go back and give that a try. They're wow cards. Well, thank you. That's we like wow, don't we? Here, let me come back and join you again. Okay, so it's only 10 after 8. I don't know whether anybody has any stamping questions, anything they want to see. We have 20 minutes. If favorite is the middle card. This one. Oh, okay. Yeah. How about other people? Anybody else have a favorite? You love them. Well, thank you, Sarah. I don't know. I really like this paper. But you know what? I really like this flower. I'm really in love with this dauber technique. Have we, I could show you the dauber technique. I don't have anything out ready for it, but we can do it. Because here is my pale papaya. And surely I have some white cardstock around. There's my Calypso Coral. Artistically, ink is not in here. Where's my stamp set? Here we go. Here's my stamp set. A dauber. Everything is almost at my fingertips, except some white cardstock. Gotta grab a piece of cardstock. I shall be right with you, ladies. Okay. Here we go. And there is the Calypso Coral ready. So pull out. So I used this large flower, and then I also used, I don't honestly know that it's supposed to be a flower middle. Could be like a flower bud. I'm not entirely sure what it's supposed to be, but I used it for the middle of my flower. So there. Take that, Mr. Flower. Just going to clean this one other flower stamp and put him away so that I can have the block for this guy. Put that on there. And then I think I have another block here. There we go. And hopefully it will fit onto here. Yes, it will. Okay, so I will just stamp it onto this. Okay, so if you have not done this, it's super easy. So you just ink up your stamp. Make sure that you start with your lightest color, and you can add more than one color. But again, you want to work from lightest to darkest so that you don't contaminate your ink pads. Okay, if I get a bit of pale papaya ink in my Calypso Coral ink pad, no one will ever know. Okay, but if I get some Calypso Coral in my pale papaya ink pad, you would know, and it would not be good. So you can see I'm just picking up some Calypso Coral ink and dabbing it onto my flower. And then because it's been sitting just for a moment, we usually recommend that you puff on it just to moisten it again. So you put your warm breath on it, and then it gets moist again. And then you just stamp down. Okay. And there we have it. So I don't have quite as much Calypso Coral here. I have more pale papaya showing on this one. But there are definitely the two colors there. And so it's sort of mottled and marbled, and it's a pretty effect, I think. So, and then I am just going to add this as the flower center. There we go. It's kind of dark, but that's okay. I think it'll be all right. And that's how you do it. So that is a really easy technique, but it makes things, it adds depth and dimension to it. And you can do some wonderful shading and coloring with it. That's what we had done on the wave that I just moved out of the way for this event tonight. I'm sort of looking down the room to see if I can see it. I can grab it again. Oh no, it's right there. I did move it, but not too far. So here's the wave. My light isn't good right under my camera, but you can see that there are darker and lighter areas of this. And so that's, this actually was 3 colors of inks. There was Coastal Cabana, which is the sort of almost greenish tone. And then that Pacific Point is the darkest one. And there was, oh no, there was Night of Navy in there too. Was there? Maybe I didn't do Night of Navy on this one. Maybe just Pacific Point and Coastal Cabana, I think, on this one. I had done some with 3 colors, but this one I just did with the 2. So there it is there. And it gives you a really neat look and a neat pattern. And as I say, it adds depth and dimension to whatever you were stamping. So there you go. There's your extra little bonus for tonight, is how to do some different color stamping all in one stamp and your 3 cards. Alrighty, so we're 45 minutes in, and unless anybody has any other questions or anything else that they would like to see, I think that's all I have for this evening. But I want to thank you all so much for joining me. Love hanging out with you. Like I said, it's I look forward to Friday evening because it means I get to hang out with my friends and do some crafting. And what's better than that? It's just an awesome way to kick off the weekend. So have a great weekend, everyone. And we will see you all again very, very soon. Bye for now.